That worked.
It
Hi.
worked.
Welcome back to Crypto Talk. So I've forgotten how to do the intro. Hi. We're back and stuff. No, but seriously, yeah, we've decided to kind of try to come back into doing this now. So we're back, and yeah, we'll see how often we can do this. Hopefully, we can do it at least once a week. I would hope. I'll attempt to do it more times than that, but we'll see. But anyway, Bitcoin almost 100K. That's a good start to get it back to. And
That's nice. I wonder who could have predicted this.
Yeah, I mean, it's not at 100K. It's almost at 100K. What is this? What is this porn music? Is it louder than it usually is? Because it's the same music, Golden Goose. And yeah,
it's maybe a little bit loud.
Is it? I think it's louder for us than it is for everybody else. But okay, I'll fix this. Like I said, we haven't done this in a while, so everything is rusty with the settings.
Yeah, I mean,
changed.
literally, this is the same music that's been playing for 100 plus videos.
Yeah. Is it 100 plus videos? I think, yeah, it must be. It's probably more than that.
Yeah.
It's like
over 100 videos.
Yeah. Either way, I was thinking we were going to talk a little bit about Bitcoin kind of reaching 100K. I wanted to talk about Gensler stepping down, and the whole strategic Bitcoin reserve and what that actually means, because that's kind of really big, like super big. Anyway,
super duper big.
Yeah. Gary Gensler is stepping down. I actually wanted to show his tweet because I could not laugh at this. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Bear with me, boys. There we go. Hopefully you can see this. So today or yesterday, Gensler said he's stepping down as the chair of the SEC. So that's fun for us. And he also said the SEC is a remarkable agency. Okay.
It does its job.
Commissioner are
it does a job.
Driven and so on. I mean, it does a job. I'm not sure if I want to say it's a remarkable agency. And he also said it's been an honor of a lifetime to serve with them on behalf of everyday Americans and ensure that our capital markets remain the best in the world, etc., etc. And I think the best part of this is here where it says focused on protecting investors. Yeah, you've done a fantastic job with that for the crypto markets, Mr. Gensler. But yeah, so he's stepping down, and I mean, the question is the next person gonna be any better? And that's like the real question. I mean, we haven't really seen any. We haven't really seen any specific people mentioned to take over, as far as I can tell. But I don't know if you agree, Rob. But anyone else, for me, is kind of like a thumbs up, right?
I'm gonna maintain my normal stance on this. Noise. It doesn't matter.
Well,
no, matter. It's. We will see. I mean, is it a fundamental shift in global adoption rates? Maybe, but I would have to see it, and that would take several years. And if not in this country, it'll happen in another country. I know, I'm here in the UK, and a number of crypto companies have just upped and left. Just stopped serving UK customers because the regulations that the previous government put in, which were quote supposed to turn the UK into a global crypto hub,
failed miserably.
And now I can't even use Pionex. So, yeah. The regulations will not be the cause of adoption, and they won't be the cause of development. It just will be nudged in one way or another which direction and where geographically that takes place. And if America gets somebody positive in that goes, or somebody that goes, you know what, free for all, do what you want.
Yeah.
Scamming season, guys. You know, like maybe
Yeah.
maybe that's it. Maybe that's what the incoming government will be. It will just be, yeah, you know what, we're going to just take our hands off this and let you all do what you want. And
Right. I mean,
I'd just be very wary about investing in any DeFi protocols in a couple of years' time on the back of it.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Like the space is very well known, and rightly so, for being extremely risky and extremely scammy, right? Because it is, right?
Because it is.
That kind of comes with the whole permissionless, trustless thing. It's like everything works on its own. You do what you want, and then if you get scammed, you're the noob. Basically, that's essentially what it is. But let's look at what we actually know, right, about what's coming next year in terms of new leadership in the United States and so on. We know, for crypto, we know that they are, as far as we can tell, crypto friendly, right? They're talking about a strategic Bitcoin reserve. They're talking about making sure that you can self-custody and that your crypto investors are going to be left alone to a large degree to do what they want with their own investments and so forth. We know that, well, the SEC chair is stepping down and going to replace him with somebody new. I think I heard a rumor it was they were talking about a woman who was an attorney, a crypto attorney that they would place there in his stead. I can't remember her name, but I briefly read about it, and yeah, it seems good for the space, right? But overall, if it's good for the rest of the world, I can't really discuss.
While we're talking,
yeah.
Just while we're talking, do you want to put the?
Should I open the charts?
Put the my 15-second chart on. Oh, yeah. As you see, Bitcoin going for a new all-time high. It's going for it now.
Charles Hoskinson for SEC chairman. No. I think I'm gonna be super diplomatic here.
So
I don't think that any person who is directly affiliated with a crypto project should be in that seat, right? That would be bad.
No.
So if it's Charles Hoskinson, if it's fucking Vitalik Buterin, if it's fucking, any person who is affiliated with a project in one way or another, totally Yakovenko, still same thing. No, right? It needs to be a neutral person, right? So, and I doubt that Charles Hoskinson or anyone in a leadership role for a crypto project would even want to have that seat, right? So there's that. And yeah, we are at 99,400, give or take, right now on Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, so that's the white line. I don't know how viewable it is. Let's make it a bit thicker. This is our all-time high, the white line. So
right
on the Binance chart anyway.
Right. I'm gonna.
So yeah. No rejection. It's all over. It's got a zero.
It's got a zero. It's done. Everything. Close all your positions. Short.
Bull market
the
over.
1000x short.
Nah. Let's see. If this pops, it's going to. It should pop very nicely, and this would be nice if we can get 100k live on stream. Go.
I would love to see that, and actually, I think on the 15-minute charts, it's not looking all that. 15-second charts, not looking all that good. To be honest.
We'll see. If it's not stopped yet. It's still holding. So.
I mean, because Plippy is crying about your screen. I'm just gonna do this to see if it looks better. Does that look better?
Change the width of your screen. What's up with him?
No, he
Is that
doesn't
better?
like that your screen is better than his. Let me see. I'm
It's.
gonna
I
go
mean,
back to
it's like.
yours. It
Is
seems
that better?
like the quality on your screen is worse than mine for some reason. Um, but yeah, zoom that in a bit more and we'll see it. Yeah. Anyway, if we do get a good new SEC chair, you need to move the screen a bit more to the left, by the way, because our logo is covering the price action. Yeah, just zoom in and move it to the left. No, not like that,
Move
Rob.
it down. What? What do you mean?
Like
Oh,
this.
zoom. Okay, so you mean.
Like this. See, middle of screen.
Yeah, but
There we go.
that's miles away.
Anyway, if we get to 100K tonight, how do we celebrate that? Like that's going to be a massive event, right? And
We go like this.
Yeah, we're gonna go like, yay, super cool. After all, it's just a prize, right? But I think we predicted.
I get to change my all my social media pictures.
Your microphone, Rob.
No.
No, I was dissing your voice, but now it's there.
Is this okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It was just there.
Okay, cool.
So you're saying you're switching your.
I can finally take the laser eyes off my goddamn profile. That's been like on my Facebook for. In fact, I've had a McDonald's hat on mine for like since 2022.
A McDonald's hat with laser eyes? Is that your?
Yeah.
I haven't actually thought about that, but maybe that's true. I don't actually know. So what? Sorry, on your chart there, what's the price? What's the price for your chart right now?
It's 99,290.
Right. Yeah, you're looking at Binance as well.
99,260. Yeah, it's a bit junky.
Yeah, I like Golden Goose's idea. We should celebrate with a 1 Bitcoin giveaway to him.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, if anybody has,
Golden Goose gives away 1 Bitcoin to everybody in the chat from Golden Goose. He's promised that now. We have it in writing. All right. Yeah. Either way, I was thinking I'd do some just super quick TA on this because just to get a perspective of what we're actually seeing right now. What we've been looking at for the past, I don't know, how long is it? 7 months, was essentially this chart, right? That was basically the chart that we've been looking at. I'll do this. There we go. We were looking at this forever, and now finally we had that breakout, test, bounce, and go, and it's moved fast. Like we had some people in the community that was accumulating throughout this whole phase, and I was like, you are so lucky to get in the middle of a bull market just before the exponential part of it, and you have 7 months to accumulate. That is stunning luck that you're able to get in there.
Oh yes,
I'll tell you, I was not that lucky. I got in at the very peak when I got in. But yeah, we've been looking at this 7 month period, or I think it was 7 months. Let's measure that real quick. I suppose we'd take it from there to over here. There we go. 238 days of just boring, right? But when it's boring, that's when you load up. So it's been fun. I think we made some pretty good trades throughout the year from this sideways action. And now we're off. And I mean, the trend line that we pulled, I don't know how long ago it was. I think it was your trend line, Rob. Or was it mine? And it's this yellow one that goes straight through everything. We have a start here, some action up here, bounce here, some action there, and then I cracked it during the bear market over here. And then we actually touched it over here at the previous all-time high, I would say, when we attempted the first kind of break towards 100k. But this trend now, we did get stuck under this for just like a moment, sort of. And I think that's where this came from. And we've actually even managed to crack this fib level at 95k, which is from here down to the bottom of this trend that we had, and from there we just flew through everything basically. But I kind of like the fact that we managed to reach this confluence here before we got to 100k. Like if we had another, if we did this in January of next year, we would hit all three at the same time almost. I mean, obviously we'd just get through the fib, but still, like I think it's quite good that we managed to reach 100k after we passed through this trend line, because otherwise those two together would maybe move us down more than we will now. Because if I remember correctly, Rob, you and we both said we think we're going to get stuck at 100k. Not necessarily correct heavily from 100k,
Yeah,
but we would get
not necessarily for a long time. Yeah, but
yeah. And now that we have a fib level to kind of bounce back on, and kind of confluence with this trend line that we passed, that is a very old trend line. Like it starts over in, what is this? June of 2019. It's a very old one. So I think if we do correct now and start moving sideways, for example, let's say with that we have to kind of hang out around here for a little bit. Maybe we're able to hang out between say 95 and 100 for a while, and that's not a very big range. So I'm excited to see where that goes. I'm gonna try to pull the fib here just to see where we will get support if it goes down. 84 if we use that. If we use what I would use, it's this. That would be 86k. Like, I think the momentum is there.
Again.
Yeah, I think the momentum is here, right? To actually crack
I'd say so.
I'm going into the 1 minute, unless you have yours readied up. Do you?
I've got my 15-second open.
Yeah. Put it in the center, because then we can see
like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I think. Oh gosh, yeah. But it looks like yours it's very close for you. I mean, I'm on the 1 minute now, on mine, and it looks like I'm miles away from it. Maybe I'm just way more zoomed in than you are.
Maybe. Can I make my...
I did double click the axis goes. You caught that, didn't you? I've learned to be lazier. But yeah, it's kind of fighting around here. I think are we gonna see it? Maybe.
I mean,
you put your line. Oh, okay. You put your line at all-time high. I put mine at 100k. That's why mine looked to be so far away.
Oh, right. No. I say that's just to see if it's gonna break.
Yeah, I just broke that on my charts. Let me do this. Let me do that. That's the target. That's the 100k target that we're looking for. So I'm gonna leave it there.
Well, Goose, we can do one further. We can do it Bitcoin in Swedish crowns, which it's over 1 million now, right?
Yeah, we could actually have a quick look at that just because. Oh gosh, no, I can't. I have to do trickery. I'll do it later. No, it's at 100, and I can actually double check that real quick. In Sweden, yeah, we did go above 1 million Swedish crowns. I think it's 1 million, almost 1,200,000 almost, which is, Yeah, no, sorry, it's 1,114,000 Swedish crowns right now.
Nice.
And that's nice for us in Sweden who have earned our wage in Swedish crowns, dumped it into the crypto market, into USDT, which is a stronger, the dollar, so it's a stronger currency, and then we've invested in Bitcoin. So while Bitcoin has been going up in dollar and dollar value, etc., the Swedish crown has been losing against the dollar as well. The Swedish crown right now is actually pretty much 11 crowns, which is not great for Swedish crowns. But yeah, we're seeing some fuckery here. Like, I mean, this is very up and downy, so I'm probably not gonna want to enter a position here personally.
Yeah, I'm kind of.
It's very fucked.
Sort of, yeah.
So, I think somebody mentioned that they opened a position in the chats. Yeah, just added to my trade. There we go. On Solana, apparently. Brave, but I think if you already have a position and you're expecting this to crack, the adding to the position is fine, because if you're already in the green, yeah, why not, right?
Yeah, I
did that earlier today. I added to both my Bitcoin and my Solana position, like my coin margin longs. I added to them both, and then we had a slight move up, a slight move down, and then we moved up again. And I was like, you know what? This is ridiculous. I'm already up 30-something% on both of them. Closed the Bitcoin position. Looked back at the Solana one. It had dumped. It was only up 15% from 30 to 25 to 15% while I was closing my Bitcoin position. So I'm like, fine. Up and down. I'm 1x long on spot anyway. It's all good. But I am personally expecting some fuckery here. I don't want to promise anything, but it feels to me like we're not going to be able to crack 100k when the American markets are kind of closed during the weekend. We've been going down during the weekends now.
Oh, that's the perfect time to do it.
Yeah, I suppose it is. And I know there's a lot of people in Sweden that have they have ETFs in Sweden we have for both Solana and Bitcoin and XRP and so on. I know several people that have positions open there, and they are all nervous every weekend, because they know, like, during the week they get a big pump in XRP, for example. Like, I think XRP went up 135% or something ridiculous like that, which is awesome for XRP holders, obviously, finally, right? But
it's about time. Seeing that, welcome to the party.
But it's like, yeah, it's like finally they get their pump, and I'm just so like I'm like, history doesn't really repeat, but it tends to rhyme a little bit. And so if we get the same thing again, like XRP moves up a lot, and then there's a weekend, and everybody who's holding XRP and ETFs during the weekend, we see it drop further and further down. Like, it can go so fast in the crypto space, but specifically XRP is known for that specific move, like giga pump, giga dump, and then it's back where it started. I hope that
I will
happen.
also point out, typically XRP pumping is a massive take profit signal. That whenever XRP pumps, it's normally the last to pump, and there is going to be a red week following shortly afterwards, and that would be quite apt, I guess, if we get a big dirty rejection off 100k, and XRP would have just signaled the top yet again. Which it does do.
It tends to do that. However, I do have to give it to the XRP community for once. Like, we tend to joke around with them a bit, and I do have to give it to them. They have been extremely high conviction.
Patient.
Well, the thing is, now we're seeing
It's patient.
We're patient, yeah. But now we're seeing that move happen, and I know there's a lot of good people out there that invest in XRP, and yes, it's not our thing, and so on and so forth. But now they're actually talking about, we're seeing some actual progress on the whole replacing Swift thing. I've been looking into it myself, and it's like, yeah, it's good, but I think maybe XRP holders are overpricing what that will do for the price of XRP, or overestimating what kind of effect that would have on the price, right? Because if you think about it, let me give you my thesis real quick on this, and I might be completely wrong, and maybe I'm just being dumb here, but okay, if all the banks in the world start using XRP as a way to transact value, I don't know how many banks there is, but I think I looked it up. I think it was like it was 4,000 or 8,000. Let's say it's 10,000. Sorry, it's 10,000 banks, give or take, in the bank in the world. If all of them start using it to transfer stuff in chunks, which is probably what they would use it for, to do some, cross-border transfers in chunks, for the day or for whatever. Say it's 10,000 wallets. That's 10,000 addresses that would transact, say, a couple of times a day, or a couple of 100 times, or 1,000 times per day. So say it's 100,000 transactions per day added to the XRP ledger. It's gonna be able to do that, for sure. It's fast enough. But does that mean like 100,000 transactions in a day is nothing? It's nothing. Comparatively, I'm gonna talk about Solana again, because that's the industry leader in that. Solana does between 30 and 70 million transactions per day, right? And it's gaining value and so on. But adding 100,000 to the XRP ledger per day, or say 1 million transactions, that's still minuscule in comparison to the competitors. So, do you see what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I think
network value is added with more users, and then the rest is speculation. So, like, true value comes from network value, right?
So network value being not only the number of users, but also the value of those transactions. So this is the thing that people need to think about with the Swift system and XRP replacing it is because I've been through this process. I've been through the XRP. Let's look at this. It's actually worth doing. It's actually good. It's actually going to change things. And then the more you look at it and you go, meh, is simply my response to XRP upon everything. It's valued as a behemoth of the space, and yeah, as it stands, doesn't do anything to warrant that valuation. Now, will it? In the case of will it, there is a lot of money that's going to be transferred across the world via crypto, and XRP may well gain a decent chunk of that valuation. And I remember numbers talking about it because it's to do with the liquidity. It's not so much about the number of transactions. It's about the sheer volume of cash that has to be moved, and therefore the liquidity that XRP would have to have, and therefore the price that it would have to have in order to do that. And so that's all valid.
Yeah.
So I went through my learning about XRP like a few years ago, and from what I understand, their products haven't fundamentally changed since then. And essentially, maybe in 10 or 20 years, we'll all be sitting there and XRP will be the bank standard for globalized payment rails. Maybe that's possible. But I kind of just see that's just USDT with extra steps, because we're going to have USDT regulations, and overall that is the ability to transact safely and securely with Tether simply gets away with gets rid of the volatility risk of XRP, and XRP has a long way to prove that it can function as a currency that can support trillions of dollars of transactions. It has to. It's got. There's no proof that it can handle a fraction of that. And we've been involved in XRPL as a ledger in the past. We weren't impressed with its capabilities, and it's simply a yes, it may fulfill its promise, but even doing that, we don't see the level of gains, or we don't see it as an optimally placed investment.
Yeah,
I think you agree with that.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, for me, for large value to be transacted on the XRP, I mean, you can do that on any chain if you use stablecoins, right?
Mm-hmm.
If XRP and Ripple has managed to integrate that into systems that would replace the Swift system, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a much better solution than the Swift system. And that's fact. But I think what they would need to do is to launch tokens. So Ripple would have to launch tokens that are stablecoin tokens on the XRPL to be able to have a token to send on the XRPL as the railway, for that to work without having liquidity issues and so on and so forth. That's the only way I can see that working, because why would any institution or bank go and buy XRP on the market to send it, and then have to and then the receiver would have to sell it on the market? So that wouldn't really do anything for the price. If it's buying it only, then yeah, the price will go up. But if it's buy and then sell instantaneously, then the market doesn't really do anything. You might get a lot of wicking within the minute candles. But if you do it with stable coins, that's the only thing that makes sense, because it's a stable currency. You don't have the need to dump it on the market, buy it from the market.
Within that,
blah, blah,
the
blah.
idea is that the finality is quick enough that the volatility becomes negligible or irrelevant.
Sure.
That again, though, it's a function of liquidity. So XRP would have to have a high token price.
Yeah, and on top of all this, if they go the stablecoin route, which I think they need to do, in my opinion, because doing it the other way means it's so many uncertainties with all that. So you would have to go the stablecoin route, which it's just the logical explanation, right? And if I can figure that out, I am sure that the guys at Ripple and everybody working on that project has already thought of that. However, what does that mean if they're going to do? That means XRPL is just the railway, which means it's just going to be the XRP token or coin, is only going to be to pay for transaction fees, and it's a very cheap. And this is why I come back to the 10,000 addresses sending transactions. If it just becomes the transaction fee paying currency, the banks don't really need that much XRP for that. They will increase the value of the chain because it has a proper use case, right? But the effect on price from buying pressure, which is what makes price increase, is not going to be that big from those new addresses sending the transactions. If that makes sense, right? It's like if Solana now, or if Ethereum or Cardano, I saw a post from a Cardano maxi, I would say, maybe not maxi, but a Cardano fan on Twitter today, and he said, "Oh, Cardano added 13,000 new addresses today. That's a new record." And I'm like, 13,000 new addresses that send transactions every day is nothing in comparison to what's going on the market overall. And if 13,000 is nothing, then what happens if 10,000 new addresses start sending transactions on the XRPL? It's going to do nothing for the price of XRP except for speculative investments, and the true buying pressure and the true intrinsic value increases by a small amount. That's what I'm trying to get to, right? Does that make sense to you? Like, I'm asking the chat as well. I'm not just asking Rob here, guys. Because
it does make sense because ultimately, if you speak to all of the people who hold XRP, literally everybody that I know that has bought XRP, none of them have really used the chain. None of them are holding for any other reason than a promise of what will be, of what one day is going to happen to
hope
XRP.
of what might be.
Yes. And in that sense, what that means is those people are holding for whatever conviction, and because of that, once there's enough of them, the price will go up. But how many of them truly have that conviction? And if you start to see those price targets that people talk about, $3, $4, $5, I think a $5 XRP is very reasonable. I think it's probably going to dump 80% after that, or from something like that. I don't think that's a sustainable price for it. So if you see it up there, I really hope you're taking some profits. But I mean,
I would layer out at like 3, at least start layering out at 3.
Well, I mean, we've seen as I mentioned, are we going to see pump breaking Sol all-time high? If you just take a look at my chart for a second. So this is Solana.
Oh, sorry, there we go.
Yeah, this is Solana versus XRP, which has just dumped 51% from its all-time high. So if you are somebody who is in XRP and you're looking at it going, well, which is better, XRP or Solana? And the market is pretty clear which one is winning out. And ultimately,
what are we looking at? Because we can't see what the chart is. What's the chart?
XRP versus Solana versus XRP.
Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, it's just dumped 50% from. You could buy 360 XRP versus Solana. Now you can only buy 178, which means that the you can, if you were interested in Solana before, well, Solana's now half the price versus your XRP bag.
Yeah, if you have XRP, this would be a nice place to rotate a little bit. Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, and so this is one of those sort of things of going, is that XRP could carry on rallying. However, Solana's in a solid uptrend against it, a multi-year uptrend against it. And yeah, these kind of things is like Solana is one of the things that's breaking its all-time high. It's in that process of breaking it alongside Bitcoin, and yeah, we could definitely see a bit of chop and volatility around here. That's just crypto things, but so overall, it's fairly clear which direction it's going in.
I mean, let's. I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm just gonna give you a perspective here, Resi. Here's Bitcoin, right? On my chart, we have Bitcoin. Here is the all-time high, the previous one, and Bitcoin is well above it, right? It's well above it. How's ETH doing? ETH is still quite significantly below. I'm gonna measure this. It's not that much, but yeah, it's 48% for ETH to get back to all-time high from here. We should probably measure this the other way, though. So we're 33%.
It's a third down,
33% down. Yeah, 33% down from its own all-time high. That's ETH. Let's look at. Oh gosh, I don't really have anything super old here, but most
Cardano.
other coins. Oh yeah, let's look at Cardano, USDT, just for funsies. And Cardano versus USDT. Cardano is down still around 70% from its all-time high. That's a big drop still. And you keep looking through all these big coins. We can look at XRP, because I saw Robert just popped in. Hi, Mr. Billing. And we're gonna measure how far it's still down from its all-time high. Right? 28%. It's rallied massively lately. Obviously, we can see that rally, which is something that it tends to do, which is great. But it's still down pretty significantly after, and I'm not just talking XRP, I'm talking ETH, Cardano, Avalanche, Near Protocol, all these big blockchains that were, ETH killers, they're all down versus Bitcoin in this market so far, basically, and they're down from their all-time high still. Then you look at Solana, and it's very close to breaking. And this is versus the dollar, by the way, the US dollar, not USDT. It's 5.5% down against the dollar as an actual fiat currency. If you look at it on the Tether USDT, it's down 2.5% right now. And to me, that means that everything else right now in the market, except for some standout projects, but the older ones that have survived the bear market, a lot of these coins are zombie coins and zombie tokens. They got in, they fell down with everything, and then we got the rebound. Solana has basically reached all-time high. Bitcoin has already cracked all-time high. Even Ethereum, the biggest name in the space after Bitcoin, well, that's questionable now, but it used to be the biggest name, it's still down, and Solana isn't. That says a lot. There's a lot of zombie chains out there. There's a lot of zombie tokens, zombie projects that people are still holding on to. And obviously the big names like XRP and Cardano with big communities that are extremely loyal, almost to a fault. They're still down, and yet those communities tend to shit talk, say, Solana, for example, for being a bad investment because it's not as decentralized as Cardano is, or it's not. It doesn't have the what XRP does with the whole Swift thing and all that. But it's like, no, but it has everything else, right? And that's why it's at all-time highs, and the others aren't, in my opinion. So we got to think about this. Every time you look back in history, if you look back from the previous bear market, in 2017, etc., all those coins that when Bitcoin broke its all-time high, if they were not very close to breaking their all-time high, if they were still 70, 60, 80%, 90% down, nobody knows what they are anymore. They don't exist in the space anymore. They're gone because they're zombie chains now. Nobody uses them. Algorand.
Here's a good way. As a good test is to go back to onto CoinMarketCap and have a look at the historical snapshots. And if you just get up, put my screen on for a second, then
give me one second.
Let's put a list for early 2018. So kinda.
Just a little bit.
It's just some numbers, but
yeah, no.
Yeah.
If we go to 2018.
So if this is. So this is 2018, and let's have a look at the coins. So you got Bitcoin, that's obviously top. XRP had actually overtaken Ethereum briefly. XRP was $3.30. It's currently $1.40. So, of course, it's a better project now than it was then. But bear in mind that when you're looking at these previous all-time high peaks, XRP it wasn't worth $3 in 2018. And so to look at that and go, okay, yeah, it's a marker, as this is what it's now currently worth. Not necessarily. It was just priced that way at the time. You had Bitcoin Cash. Jesus Christ, Bitcoin Cash I think is now, what's that, $300 or something? Maybe it's a bit higher.
I couldn't tell you. Actually, I can check. BCH, you said?
Yeah, Cardano. Cardano was still around. So within there, like, you've got New Economy Movement. Wow, I remember holding some of that dog shit.
487 for BCH.
487, yeah. So it's down, 80% or more from there. New Economy Movement, I'm sure, is pretty much dead. Litecoin is currently about $90. Tron, what's Tron at?
Is,
30 cents or something.
Something like that, but it's still a chain that's widely used for various reasons.
It's 20 cents. It's exactly the same price as it was, but yeah, it is used.
So that's
Stellar Lumens,
okay.
From 69 cents, it's currently 50% down from there. IOTA was $4, currently
Yep.
18 cents. Wow. Oh
I
dear.
think the point. Oh gosh. I think the point we're trying to make is that
The point
you're
is,
looking at this top list, and you have some names you recognize, but they're not in the top list anymore. They're further down, right?
yeah,
Like some of these.
Dash $1,285,
Oh,
now 29.
Yeah. So this is what we mean by
Like,
you see
you know,
there. You see that peak there on Dash, that second peak that we had. We had a massive peak, and then we had a small peak. That is the 2021 bull market peak. You see how far away that is from the all-time high that it had before. This is what we're trying to say here. There's a lot of zombie coins that have a massive bull run in, because they're good at the time, and then new stuff comes out during a bear market and people are building. We get a new peak, an all-time high, and it's not the same peak anymore. Like, it doesn't get to the point. And when we're at this point right now, Bitcoin is at all-time highs. Some coins and tokens are still 60, 70, 80, 50% down from all-time highs, when Bitcoin is, like, it was at 70, that's all-time high, and it's now at 100. If they are not at all-time high or higher, they are essentially zombie coins, because it's clear as day that the market doesn't care about them anymore, right? And I think one of the big reasons to why XRP and Cardano still has fairly strong, buying pressure, and that they're still in existence, is that the communities are extremely strong. But that's also a problem, is that then you get kind of tricked into let's take Cardano for example. You look at Cardano and you see the community is super active, and it make it sound like Cardano can solve every problem ever, blah blah blah, whatever. And then you have new people coming in, and they see that and they're like, wow, Cardano seems great, and they don't know better, for example, because if you've been in this space, you know how to analyze things, and you can see which chains are the alpha in that sector. It's very easy to see. And everything Cardano does, Sui, Solana, fucking ETH, everything can do it as well. But they can do it better, because they're either faster, cheaper, higher throughput, whatever it is, right? So all the problems that Cardano claim that they can solve, 55 other blockchains can solve as well. And when you have new people coming into this space and they see Cardano community talking about Cardano is the best and everything, the problem is the community is not growing. The only buying pressure is coming from the current community in Cardano, right? The growth of new users, wallets, whatever, transaction numbers, everything. Growth in those numbers, the on-chain metrics, is what tells you what is actually growing, right? With new buyers, new investors. And that's where you want to be. If you're jumping into something that's only being bought by an existing community that is not growing, that's a major issue, because that becomes, you jump into that community, you end up in an echo chamber most of the time. And we actually talk about this quite a bit in Discord and so on. But confirmation bias and echo chambers are extremely prevalent in this space, like extremely. So look at the chart I've got up there. Dogecoin market cap growing. You want to be in something that has stronger fundamentals than XRP, buy Doge, because the price data doesn't lie. And right, I mean, they're making a good point in the chat too, I have to say. I mean, the biggest market in the world cannot really. I mean, they can invest in XRP, they just have to jump through a bunch of hoops. So
let's say XRP will do fine.
Yeah, it will,
and then it'll drop like a stone. That's it. It'll do fine, and then it'll drop like a stone. It has staying power, as you can see. This chart. This is 7 years ago, nearly, and it was number 2 then. It's near the it's in the top 10 still now. What is it at? number 6. But it's just not the fastest horse in our eyes, and it never will be able to. And so even if it does as well as we can expect it to do, there will be other coins and other projects that we believe will make similar or greater returns with the same or lower levels of risk. I think that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the end of that thing. But it's like both Robert and Golden Goose are saying some stuff here, and it's like it's very true. There's a lot of circumstances that have held back XRP. You can't deny that, lawsuits and all that. And they have done a lot for the space to make sure that regulations and, bringing the questions about the regulations to the forefront, which is great. And XRP will do fine. I mean, it will move with the market. It has, and it's just shown. But like we said in the beginning, before Robert, you were here, is that what XRP tends to do is everything moves, then XRP moves. And when XRP has moved, there is some rotation in value, and then there is a overall dump in the market, because that's when everything has moved. So Bitcoin would move, people take profits from Bitcoin, they rotate it into, say, XRP, Solana, whatever, and then everything moves with that. And then once they've moved, people take profit and rotate it back into Bitcoin or into meme coins or whatever. And then everything kind of stagnates. And then when everybody takes out their profits and then they just want to take those profits and wait for a dump, then they dump the market, everything goes down, and the very strong, fundamentally strong projects that has a lot of users, a lot of use case, and that people are able to buy, for example, because they're not blocked from buying it, will be bought, and they will return to, new all-time highs pretty quickly. And this is why we've seen things like Cardano, and even ETH. Even ETH has lost the race, right? Which is, it makes sense in some ways.
It's losing the race. The race isn't over yet.
No, it's not over, but it's so far it's lost the race, right? And there's very little things that say that for new people coming into this space, seeing, okay, what do I invest in? And then they start doing research on which blockchain they want to invest in. And most people go where most action is. Not necessarily price action, that's one thing, but they also go where there's most things to do. With XRP, you can't do anything, really. I mean, yes, you can do some stuff. I mean, Rob and I both worked on an XRPL project, okay? Like, we worked on a project. I was the COO of a project, and we helped them out. Rob was a research guy and everything. And there's not much to do, and which kind of lowers it lowers the amount of buying pressure from people that want to use the chain for something, right? And that's been proven in the price action for XRP. Having one thing that can move the price a lot, that's one thing, and it can move the price a lot, but can it sustain it? And is it enough to move it further than competitions? Than the competition. Like, we're not saying XRP and Cardano will not move, because they will. We're saying
they will.
There's much more to collect elsewhere. So we're talking about optimal investment, for example.
Reading Robert's comment there, we cannot look at history on XRP. Time has completely changed. Trump, SEC lawsuit, bank deals potentially taking over SWIFT. All I can say, and I promise you, is I heard all those exact same arguments in 2017. Same arguments. The exact same arguments. The SEC, the lawsuits, SWIFT was going to take it was all there. You can just go back through the history of time of XRP shilling. And so it's like we say, it's going to do fine, but and only time will tell. I will be happy to be called out as proved wrong, but I think in 2 years' time we'll sit here, and maybe in 3 or 4 years' time, however long it takes, but at some point we will look at this XRP to Bitcoin chart, and I predict it will be down here somewhere. And I'll draw the circle on now. and it can stay on there as a testament. XRP BTC will fall down there at some point.
Sure. I mean, I can subscribe to that. I think
that's yeah.
But that's XRP versus Bitcoin, right? It's not XRP versus dollar.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. That's
XRP
it. It could
XRP
go
will
up here
go
first. Yeah, but I say if it's not beating Bitcoin, I don't care.
Yeah.
And
no,
to me, my history, my understanding of the market.
I want to clarify. Sure. I want to clarify to everybody listening that we're not saying that anything in the market is a bad investment in terms of making dollar gains. We are making arguments for why other things might be a better risk to reward play, right? Investing in anything in the market right now, specifically things that are currently very bullish, like XRP, like Solana, like Sui, like Bitcoin, they are all going to make you a shit ton of money. Okay, they are. The only argument we're trying to make is exactly. Currently, we can make money on almost any coin. Exactly. However, as a long-term investor, and we think both Rob and I think very cyclically, right? Because we've been through cycles, and the overall pattern is essentially buying and holding Bitcoin has outperformed 99.9% of the market, right? Throughout time. We've had big moves through, we have had big moves like Dogecoin was outperforming stuff for a long time, even though it was fundamentally weak, but it wasn't sustained, right? And it lost against Bitcoin over that time frame to now. It's lost against Bitcoin. It's lost value against Bitcoin. As you can see, it went up like there. Zoom up a bit more, Rob. It went up a big chunk, and then it came back down. And now it's trying to come back up again. And so
these drawings.
Big
drops.
This is Doge, right? Yeah, big pumps, big drops.
Big downs. Yeah, Doge versus Bitcoin.
Doge versus Bitcoin, yeah, correct. So we see these pumps and then we see these dumps, and Doge has actually held up really well this time around, I have to say. But you can see how it's versus Bitcoin, it's still down. Yeah.
So it dropped 87% versus Bitcoin. It's still down 68% versus Bitcoin from its peak.
And that's after.
And so this is huge. I think it was 1300%. If my numbers are right versus Bitcoin.
No, the last one. The last one that we're currently having.
Oh, the current one. Oh, that was 6,000% versus Bitcoin. That's it. This is we're currently on from the weekly close bottom 140%.
So 140% pump against Bitcoin.
I mean, it's
currently. I mean, that's great, because this is what happens. Bitcoin moves against the moves up against the market for most of the market, for most of the time in the market, and then eventually some of the big coins or tokens that are really great projects that have small market caps, they outperform Bitcoin for a period, but then Bitcoin comes back and outperforms the market entirely. We have seen Bitcoin gain market.
Look at the likes
dominance. I think. Let me just real quick. We've seen. I'm going to jump to Bitcoin dominance. BTC.D, and I'm going to go to the weekly. There we go. So we've seen Bitcoin here move up from being 39% of the dominance on the market to being now 61%. And then we get the alt season, which is this. Right? When alt season pumps, altcoins pumps versus Bitcoin, and Bitcoin loses market share, right? So this is kind of what we're expecting. And okay, yeah, bye Robert. I'll see you next time. I'll see you on Sunday actually. So, but essentially we have Bitcoin dominance goes up during the first here we have it sitting still during the bear market, so it's holding its own, it's going up and down. Then the bull market starts. Oh, it's still here. Oh, hi. So we have the market moving up, or Bitcoin moving up in dominance on the market during the first phase of the pre-bull, is what I call it. You know, we had 2023, we had pre-bull, and then we have the exponential now, and it's still going up against the market, which means the rest of the market is still slacking, right? XRP has moved, Solana has made moves along with Bitcoin, because if you look at Solana dominance, it's been gaining in the same pace as Bitcoin has, which is very, very bullish. And then we've seen ETH has been losing market dominance, so it's losing market share. It's in, you can see it if you go to ETH.D. See, it's been losing market share here during the same period that Bitcoin and Solana has been gaining market share.
Can I suggest something interesting? If you just put up Ethereum dominance plus Sol dominance. Sure.
Let me just you do that, and I'll put your screen on.
Okay.
So what's going to happen is that the alts are going to start gaining market share again when Bitcoin starts to stagnate, because then you have more risk-taking investors are going to pull value out of their Bitcoin investment and place it in other stuff like smaller coins, say Zeus, for example, on the Solana blockchain, or Jupiter, or whatever it is. Then all those mid caps are going to start moving. That's usually what happens. And then we see total 2 and total 3, which is or total and total 2 and total 3, which is the market minus Bitcoin and minus ETH minus stablecoins, whatever. We see that start to move up in market share and in dominance, and and that's where we get that move where all the altcoins just start screaming up against Bitcoin, and that's where we get that drop in Bitcoin dominance, as we saw. That's when you want to rotate really into altcoins, because you want to hold Bitcoin and the very strong projects, the alpha projects. You can hold them across the board. Like I said, Solana has been gaining market share while Bitcoin has, and everything else was losing market share. That means Solana is one of the most alpha and most bullish, strongest names to hold in the market, and we predicted that. That's why we held it. And then now we're seeing Bitcoin reach 100K. We're seeing Solana at all-time high, which makes sense because it's been gaining market share, remember? And then we're going to see probably and hopefully Solana, at least in my opinion, see Solana gigapump versus Bitcoin here, because it's breaking its all-time high as Bitcoin is kind of starting to stagnate maybe soon. And then all the altcoins are going to move like crazy, right? Hopefully. And so seeing XRP and Cardano, which is, you could call them alpha plays, but no, I can't call them alpha plays. Big important names in the space, I will call them that. Big important names in the space are moving now. After Solana and Bitcoin, everything has moved. Those names are starting to move. Those investors will take profits and rotate it into lower cap stuff to make extra profits before they go back into Bitcoin and we rally on. That's usually what happens. And it sounds really complex, but it's actually quite logical. Thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Sorry, I went on a rant there, but
no, that's fine. I mean,
your screen, Rob.
So I made a chart while you were ranting.
Yeah,
so
I saw that, so I kept on.
This is more dominance chart. So this is the combined dominance of Ethereum, Solana, Cardano, XRP, BNB, Avalanche, and Polkadot. So a big chunk of these smart contract platforms, the main plays in the space of just general what crypto does. And this is the combined dominance. Does this look like a bull market? Not really. So yeah, everything's going up in dollar terms, but overall these platforms, they are not rallying. This is the speculative frenzy in this market isn't here, and we should, this isn't a bad sign. This is something that we should be happy about this. the manic phase is yet to come.
Yeah.
This right now,
the exponential
all
move
of
is not here yet.
yeah,
is what we're saying.
that Bitcoin is still running in is still sort of taking the lead because Bitcoin dominance is still rising, and overall the smaller plays, yes, they might be going up, they might make small jumps in percentage that are higher than Bitcoin on any given day, but how many of them are really making in sustained full-blown dollar uptrends, but also uptrends versus Bitcoin? Not many of them. Solana included. Solana hasn't been in a proper uptrend versus Bitcoin for a while. It's just sort of, it's recently sort of started to move out. Yeah, take a look at that one, because
I'll open it.
Yeah, sure.
See, this is
what
you're. This is what I was talking about here.
It's been flat for the best part of a year almost.
Yeah. Versus Bitcoin.
And so, yeah, which is great. That's a sign of strength. So we want to see this break upwards now. You want to see Solana prove that this is going to make moves. Similarly, we want to see Ethereum versus Bitcoin make moves. And
sorry, I've never been called the Big Daddy before, but that's
the Big Daddy.
I like the sound of that. Let's talk after the show.
Yeah. But yeah, so say that, and this is then you look at Solana consolidating flat, but overall, there's clearly no downtrend there. It is just flat. If you look at the likes of XRP and zoom out, do XRP versus Bitcoin, this pump looks like a relief rally. So there's a long way to go for XRP yet. That's why I was getting it up, but it's hanging nearer to the bottom of its chart versus Bitcoin than the top.
Yeah.
And it's been a long time since it went and visited the top of that chart. So from a purely technical perspective, that ain't bullish. And this would be this may well be seen as an opportunity for people to take profits.
So I'll say this. XRP,
but if it goes
here, after this rally, still needs to move 1,600% versus Bitcoin to go back to where it was at its best versus Bitcoin. And this is what I mean about things being zombie chains or whatever. XRP has been holding up against Bitcoin really well overall. Like it's a stable coin versus Bitcoin over this time period. But most of us, I would say, has been in the market since about here, 2018 somewhere, and since then XRP has underperformed Bitcoin. That doesn't mean that it won't break this trend, for example, and just start moving big against it for a while. But with everything we know about Bitcoin, what's happening right now, we talked about this really early in this, Gensler's being removed, and we have the Bitcoin Strategic Reserve for the US. Think about this. If the United States of a fucking America starts buying Bitcoin, do you think, the European countries will go, oh, that's dumb? Do you think China and all the other, Asian countries will say, oh, that's dumb? No. They might think so for a while, but then when Bitcoin starts making insane moves versus everything, then suddenly it's not funny anymore, right? And I think this is the argument Saylor does, Michael Saylor. He gives us this argument. It's like, if the United States wanted to, they could print $50 trillion in a day and market buy Bitcoin and still win. They can. They can, but they won't, because that would destroy their economy. But
yeah, no,
and they wouldn't be able to dump it all to remove. They wouldn't be able to dump it all on the market because the liquidity isn't there.
Yes, it is the multi-year game. Say to quote Warren Buffett, as in, nobody wants to get rich slow. Bitcoin is the get rich slow money maker in crypto. Yeah. There are get rich quick schemes. Most of them are schemes. There are a few absolutely incredible companies, and those will outpace. But even the most incredible companies often don't have 10, 15, 20 years of dominance. They are flash in the pans. They have their moment. Solana is currently the best in the best technology available, serving the most amount of users with the highest throughput, and it's currently outperforming most of the coins. Is that going to be the case in 5 or 10 years' time?
No,
Probably not.
Well, here's the thing.
The odds are that it won't.
Here's the thing too.
We
have been talking about how Solana is the consensus chain for the past 2 years, right? Or 3 years even. And we've been right. But we always said, as soon as something else comes along that starts taking market share from Solana consistently with better capabilities, Solana will start losing the race against that, just like ETH is losing against Solana right now. And that's why I'm hedging my Solana bet with Sui, because it has potential, right? It's the first thing that's come out where I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So
and I still have a 99. I still have an expectation with almost 90% confidence that whenever both of those coins top, and it'll probably be on the same day or the same week, Sui will fall further than Solana. That's all of these things, and I expect Solana to fall 80% or more from wherever it makes a peak in the next year or two, if that's the time. And I expect Bitcoin to drop over 50, and I expect ETH to drop probably 70. And all of these things should just be expected. And so after a while, it's less scary, and if you see these things as what they are, which is crazy speculative volatile investments on essentially startup companies with a monumentally high risk failure. If you treat this as this is penny stocks, and if you treat it as such, do not get married to your bags, take profit off the table, make sure you always have a cash reserve, and do not be left holding the bag. And the problem that I've seen with the people who do get married to their bags is they get married to their bags and all the way until the bottom, and that's when they want to divorce.
Yeah.
And you need to learn to cut them when the times are good.
Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody knows. There's no secret that I am a huge Solana bull. My bullishness comes from data that I can look at on paper in front of me and say, that's better than that, that's better than that, etc., right? That's why I am bullish. Unfortunately, a lot of other communities, they look at the same data and they see that they're losing against, say, Solana, and then they go, but it doesn't matter because decentralization is way more important. But it's not, because if it was, the market would have bought that instead of Solana, and they haven't. End of. That's where the market decides the price. Okay, that's just how it is. I'm not just saying that because, oh yay, Solana, whatever. That doesn't matter. The best technology is where the developers will go. That's where the best projects will be built, because the best developers has gone there. And the best developers is going to build the best stuff, which means users are going to come because there's cool shit on Solana or any other chain that builds cool shit. That's where you get the user adoption. And then then it starts over. You get back to the devs and they say, I want to build the project. Where should we build it? What chains have the capability? Well, this, and this chain has capability that we need to build our thing. Okay, which one of those has the most users? Oh, this one. Okay, go there, because that's most potential customers or consumers, right? It's not harder than that. That's basically... yeah. So
Bitcoin has lots of features, Robert.
Yeah. So I was going to get into that actually, and we can talk about XLM as well.
So I can give you a bit of a history of XLM, not a detailed one by any means, but basically the reason it's pumping is because XRP is pumping. It was created by one of the founder of XLM was one of the early days founders in XRP, so they have some, I guess, similarities in tech, some similarities in how they operate, but ultimately there's not really much in common, if anything, with them as actual projects anymore. But when XRP tends to pump, XLM pumps as well.
Yeah,
It is as one of those aforementioned, basically a zombie chain. I don't know or haven't heard of anybody using it, and don't hear it mentioned for
thing with
years now.
The thing with Stellar is that it's like you said, the reason to why some of these coins pump like this is because there is no liquidity in the order books, right? And when some buy pressure comes in, the order books get cleaned out real fast, right? And this is what we get from that, right? This is why when Bitcoin pumps, it doesn't pump that fast and that brutally, because one, market cap is very high, and order books are filled with traders that sell, right? And so smaller coins, they always move more. I mean, this is Stellar. Let's super quickly just look at Nosana, for example. Here's Nosana when it was new. This is on the weekly charts. It was doing nothing for a good while, and then suddenly, AI is cool because this is an AI project, and then it moved 74,000% in less than half a year. That's 19 weeks. Because no liquidity. Okay? Books just went. You see the books are empty, bloop, and then the book starts filling up, and then there is a secondary pump, and then there's the dump. And this is where the coin or the project is actually tested for real. Is this worth this valuation? Or not, right? I can imagine there was not a lot of people that owned Nosana down here. After I don't even know how long this is, but after launch, it took 96% dump or more. Sorry, it's 99% dump. 96% dump for 2 years, almost 2 years, 91 weeks. I'll tell you right now, there's not going to be a lot of wallets holding that. And then suddenly, AI narrative comes around, the right hype comes around, and boom, it moves. And the guys that are holding it, they're like, I'm just going to hold this, I don't care. So there is no sell orders in the books, and then boom, liquidity comes in. So this is why we get these pumps. Okay, I wanna get to a question that you asked, Robert. Let's see, what was it? Where do you think Bitcoin will go? Show the chart. Okay, we are in I'm gonna start with this. We have a channel that we're currently trading through, and then this is just the TA side of it. Okay, this is my TA part of the prediction. Bitcoin tends to move further than people think, right? Previous market, it didn't. We had a double top. People were saying 100K previous peak, but it never happened because China ban, that one, and then some other stuff, and then collapse, basically, right? But TA-wise, we're going to hit, for me, we might hit this trend line, right? And how long it takes, we don't know. If it goes straight up next week, 222K. But looking for peaks through TA in price discovery is useless, in my opinion, my humble opinion. There are two ways to do it, in my opinion, when it comes to TA to find the peak on a long-term scale. And it's a trend line like this, if it's in price discovery, or maybe a fib level like this one. And then we're getting 155K, and I don't think we're going to get 625K. I don't think we will.
Well, that would be nice.
And this is a log chart, so if I turn up the log charts, it's going to be, you see this bull market compared to this one. Yeah, maybe this one will look that tiny next time and we'll be up here. But I always use the log because I want to. So price-wise in through TA, it's the trend line, and I think, or the fib level, and I don't think the fib level has much power behind it, if I'm honest, because it's just a fib, and that's usually not enough. It's done really well before, but I think it's a different kind of market now. However, if you really want to see peak market and how to do that, I like to look at stuff like this. and this is on-chain stuff. This is the CBBI. So this gives you a confidence we are at peak. Right now it's 80%, and it uses all of these different on-chain models, and they aggregate them together, and you get a score. Previous peaks, it showed 98. Before the one after, there was 100, and before that it was 98 again. So it's very good at finding those peaks, and you see also the red on the price here is where you get close, and we're on orange right now, which puts us at 80 right now. But this is an aggregate, and what you do want to look at, you can use, and I'm going to bring up something that Rob made by using the Pi cycle indicator, which is on-chain stuff. So this one, historically, I'm going to go to the Bitcoin history charts. Historically, it's shown very well where the peak is, and it's time to get out. You see these big peaks, and this is on the daily, and this is each cycle. Very good. This is one on-chain model.
I hate how good this is. I hate how good it is.
I hate that. I hate it as well. It's scary good. And we're nowhere near this yet. Like this cross right here, it's basically here or here.
Yeah.
Right now is what it's looking like. So that's one on-chain indicator. We have the CBBI, which is a lot of them. We have the Bitcoin rainbow chart, and this is something that I like to look at. So what this is, these lines are the Bitcoin halvings, and about a year and a half, give or take, say a third through the cycle, Bitcoin peaks after the halving. We have it right here, we have it here, we have a weird double top here, but let's call it here. So essentially, we would peak out here somewhere on this chart. Depending on how far we go within the rainbow chart here, and we've done red, dark orange, and maybe next time we go light orange. That puts us between 191,000 and 245,000, right? And this is another way to look at it. It's very hard to project future price, right? Which is why we have always said try to figure out and locate the peak range of the market, and then you'll layer out during that peak range. Trying to catch a price is impossible. If somebody tells you, Bitcoin's going to 286k, and you're like, cool, I'm putting my sell word at 285. All right, great. It goes to 260 and then it goes down, and you've missed your opportunity entirely, right? So figuring out that price range, by looking at this, for example, you get an overall range that you want to see if it's gonna hit perfectly. And it's not, I can't really give you instructions on this. It's essentially just see where the peaks have been, see approximately what that would be. Here you get an idea of the ranges, the price ranges. And this is one way to get a price range. There is other ways. We have things like Chain Exposed, which is a website that shows us various models that are quite advanced, and it's really easy to find bottoms. You can see here. Finding peaks is different. You need to look at various network metrics, and this is something I can't really go through here because it's going to take forever. But my point is trying to find a price. Don't even try to find a range, and then be happy with that. That's my pro tip.
Good pro tip.
Did you fall asleep yet, Rob?
No. I mean, I'm still wondering why you've not shown them our strategies.
I'm showing it. Oh, our strategies? Well, I've actually...
I mean, if you want to know where the top is...
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, sure. You're right. We do have strategies that do show that. Let's start with what I was just talking about. We do have this cycle strategy, which is something that shows us what I just talked about. I'm going to remove some stuff from the chart. No, actually, no, I'm not. Yes, I am. Here we go. So this is where the point of this is to try to find the bottom range and start buying, layering into the market, during, let's say, the bottom 50% of the market, and then layering out during the top 50% of the market, give or take. We've seen it work really well here. Up here, we had some sells through here to take profit. It's going to start selling off more up here later. So that's where it finds the range. But we have, let's look at the swing trade strategy. This strategy that we have would show you on the weekly, I think, some pretty good sell orders. Let's open it up and put heavy exits and heavy entries.
Yeah, keep the soft ones off maybe. But
yeah, you're right.
Even on the weekly, it still works.
Even on the weekly, it's still soft. But so this here is an indicator we made that shows you good buying opportunities during the bear markets and pretty decent sell orders, I would say.
Yeah.
This is a bit premature, but nothing's perfect. But
yeah,
overall,
you're actually running the old version of that strategy that would give. You are.
Yes, you're right.
It's only briefly different, but still the things are the same. But even on going on the daily and turning off, when you turn off soft and medium
turn
ones,
off all the soft and medium. So this one would layer you in and out as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, to answer the actual question, I think Bitcoin will go to its peak range. That's what I think.
Yeah.
Anyone who tells you, it's going to go to X price is lying to you. Sorry.
Yes, agree. Any coin, any price, anybody who tells you it is going to this price, no, they are lying. They don't have a clue. Just in answer it, I believe we'll have a longer bull run this time, and I like these questions because, with the greatest respect, these are the noob questions that need asking, because these same sentences could be said in 2021, in 2017. In 2017 and 2018, you wouldn't believe it was but the CME futures backed. Has anybody in the chat even heard of backed, which was one of the first institutional spot markets, and it launched to absolutely nobody giving a shit, and it ran for like 6 months or 9 months, and then it closed, and it was like had huge backers. It had the New York Stock Exchange in on it. It was huge, and nobody gave a shit because it was too early. So the idea that institutions they might prolong things, but institutions are just buyers. They're just market participants, and in a bigger market, the market participants need more money to move the market. So without those market participants, we just carry on crawling upwards with less major volatility. We need these big sell-offs and these big pumps and these big dumps, and that comes from institutional buyers, and that's going to drive volatility and price appreciation. It's still going to be volatile. It's still going to feel disgustingly horrible to hold upwards. There's still going to be big drops. There's still going to be FUD. It's the same game. The game is just not going to change. And in terms about longer bull run or shorter bull run, the bull run is driven by liquidity. We've seen, this is something that we've seen play out over and over again. As central banks, as countries, as governments, as they refinance their debts, as they move money, we start to see these secular bull markets in assets. It's how central banks are devaluing currency. It's how central banks are doing the capital rotations. This is the game, and it just so happens to run on a 4-year cycle, and it just so happens to coincide with the Bitcoin halving and with the presidential election. Yep. But ultimately, it's driven by debt refinancing, and the US government, the Chinese government, the European Central Bank, the Bank of Japan, they basically all have credit cards on 4-year terms, and they have to refinance them every 4 years. And when they do, they throw a load of money into the market and use that as an opportunity to refinance at lower interest rates, which is what they need to do to pay for the absolutely gigantic saddling of debt, which is going to keep growing. And yeah, I know a lot of people are going to be happy about what, say, Elon Musk are going to do. Oh, he's going to get rid of all the efficiency in the US government. It's like, let's just say, for example, he halved US government expenditure, and US government expenditure's like 40% or 45% of the US GDP. You realize that's a collapse of GDP of 20%, right? Which is an unholy goddamn crash/depression. Like, these things don't come without consequences. So this idea that everything's different now, different but the same. Markets, they say, markets are, they don't repeat but they rhyme. This is just a rhyme. There's a completely different interest in crypto, which is more liquidity, but the market cap's bigger to start off with. So to make the same multiple, you need that rise in liquidity. If we're going to get to a 10, 50, 100 trillion asset class, if this is going to be a 100 trillion asset class within 10 years, and we're currently at 3 trillion, we need those institutions. We're not getting to 100 trillion without their involvement. So the idea that, it's different because of them, it's like, well, if we want to get where we want to go, they're just part along for the ride, and we're not going to get there without them. So I would say nothing's changed. We've just leveled up. We're now a bigger fish, so we go play in a bigger pond, and we still get buffeted around by the bigger fish.
Yeah, I think it's like you said, global liquidity. Like, the reason to why we're in the banana zone right now is because a couple of weeks after Bitcoin had that huge dump down to 49K, where the bottom was for this slow 8-month or 7-month long consolidation, we saw an uptick in global liquidity. We saw a change in interest rates by the Fed, rate cuts. We saw the overall the overall like sentiment for the global markets start to change. Global liquidity ticks up. Bitcoin lags after gold, but people are moving into gold. We saw that. Then gold stopped and Bitcoin woke up, and now we're having what we're having right now. And the best, we were looking at two things, right? We were looking at global liquidity, that's money supply and global liquidity, M2 money supply and global liquidity. We were also looking at we made some predictions on the Fed funds rate, didn't we? Like, way when they started raising.
Did we?
Should we look at the chart of truth? I think we called it, right?
Yeah, go on, man.
Because I just realized I haven't looked at this chart. And I'm sorry, guys. I just figured this out.
You've not looked at it for 6 months.
I have not looked at it for 6 months. So we made a prediction in the Fed funds here to see where we would go. And we cannot look at log scale because that would ruin the whole thing. And for some reason that's broken. I don't know why. But that was our trend line for Fed funds rate. And our prediction was, I made the prediction where I said, okay, let's measure the length of the rates going up, the pause, and the dump back to basics, right? And I did an average of these two only, which is not very, very good. The prediction was that the average of these two previous ones, the pause would be this long to the white line. We overextended that a little bit because we had some problems with inflation kind of moving up and down a little bit for a while. But then, I mean, so far it's quite accurate. The pause happened exactly when we thought it would, and Bitcoin halving is this orange line. We're now moving down, and in a year's time, according to this prediction, we should be back at normal or let's boost
close
GDP
to zero
growth.
rates.
Yeah, let's boost GDP growth rates.
So this is I want to do something that's maybe a bit sacrilegious here. I want to praise the Federal Reserve because they made a very, very correct statement in 2021, which was they said that inflation was transitory.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody was laughing at them, and everybody was calling them idiots. That nobody in the economy knew what they were talking about, but they were right. What they didn't account for was, Vladimir Putin deciding he fancied a bit of a scrap in Eastern Europe, which completely fucked up all of the fuel markets and all of the oil and gas, and gave us a very solid, horrible winter. I don't think we can blame Jerome Powell for that one. I think we can maybe
I
let him off for that decision. Yeah. And yet, within that, what we were saying before then, what their policy mistake was not raising interest rates earlier, raising them too fast, and then holding them for a bit too long when they should have been lowering them. Yeah. And so far, I think our that thesis has played out pretty perfectly in that, they overall did what they had to do, but they did it a little bit behind the curve.
A little bit too violently.
Yes. And
yeah,
go on.
No, I was just gonna say you're right. Like we were talking about when they started raising rates, we said, they should have started raising rates by 0.1 instead of 0.25 or 0.5 like they did for the first bit. If they would have done it like here, raising it a bit slower, maybe some periods of faster raising of rates, because you can see the difference here. This one was really quick. This one was a bit more controlled, and here they just went, oh shit, 0.5% every month. That's gonna destroy demand on a massive level. And the only reason to why this happened was COVID, and they had to print 40% of circulating supply of US dollars literally in no time at all. And then you get this is the response that they had to do. They should not have done it that fast. As soon as they started printing, they should have gone, okay, let's raise rates 0.1, right?
Yes.
That wouldn't have made a difference, but it would have started to get people ready to slow down on spending, right? If they had raised it 0.1 every month, that would have been a nice ease into it. And then if they had to speed it up in the end, good. Then they could have sped it up to 0.25 instead of 0.5 towards the end. And we would have ended up at maybe lower, like if the trend of this would have been, say, let's see, October, November, December, April 2021. This dump is because of that. But if they started doing this, racing it like this, and then pumping it a bit more, this would have readied people up to actually start, like, okay, wait, now we need to start to think about our finances before everything went to shit.
Yeah.
Right? So I think that would have helped a lot of people, especially low-income households or even middle class, to actually start thinking about, oh crap, we need to start slowing down, right? So that the shock wouldn't have been that rough, right? So it's nice listening to you guys. You're sitting on a lot of knowledge. Thank you. Like,
we think so.
Thank you. We tried.
Maybe if you just want to flip back to my chart for an extension of the.
Actually,
we have our
I'll
chart
I'll
of truth.
just say, Robert, thank you for saying that. That's
very
cool because we like compliments. You can say, you can give us nice compliments about our hair as well if you want to, because we try with that as well. But no, it's nice. It's nice to, well, okay, so sorry, real quick, you're missing out on XRP? Yes, but I'm doing it intentionally because I've already gained 3,000% on Solana instead of the 150 that I'm currently missing on XRP, so I'm fine. But but sure.
Anyway,
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So an extension of the chart of truth. So for old timers will know many a time me talking about bond yields, which is the most boring subject on earth, but it's also very interesting if you talk to it like we do. But here is, as an extension of the federal funds interest rate. So here is the US 10-year yield minus the 2-year yield, which is very much the chart of truth in that it pretty much successfully predicts every time this goes zero, i.e., the 2-year yield is paying more on US Treasuries than the 10-year. Every time this goes below zero, and even there where it's peaked below, we tend to have a recession 12 to 18 months afterwards. And maybe COVID did us a favor in that it basically fucked everything up so much and gave us an opportunity for a reset that actually everything kind of just evens out and we don't get a crash. But typically the crash happens after the uninversion. This is something we've been talking about for a long time.
Yeah.
And so
And that's the green bars there, by the way.
The green bar are US recessions. So generally, now things would be entering kind of the spooky period. And yet everybody's super duper happy and super optimistic, and there couldn't possibly be any problems in the world, right? No, everything's fine. Don't worry about it, guys.
Yeah.
But maybe we've got, I would expect something bad to happen still at some point. But a lot of good things can happen before then. So, and this is kind of, plays into the take profits. At some point, this curve is going to go this direction.
That way. This direction, correct.
And that generally doesn't come with anything good. So, yeah. These things are facts of the market. These things aren't bull markets or bear markets. They're not Trump. They're not the US economy. They're not unemployment. It's just cycles. It's just money flow. It's just the way that the financial world goes. And learning to read the charts emotionlessly and understanding that, even if you're right, you're probably wrong. And that goes for all of us, myself and Phil included.
Well, we're
there's
right
an awful lot we're wrong about.
That's just how it
exactly.
works.
And that's just a matter of timing. You can be a genius or you can be an idiot, and the difference is a few weeks.
And you can be both. Like you can
be both
until you don't change your thesis because you're stuck in your thesis. And this is what we also mean when we say don't get married to your bags. If you become a massive bull of, like I am, Solana bull, cool, but you have to stop being that when it's time to stop being a Solana bull. That's just the way it works. Like, because everything is cyclical. This is disruptive technology after all. I mean, if you think about it, blockchain technology is disruptive technology, just like Tesla is, for example. They're disrupting a whole industry, or several industries. Blockchain is disrupting industries as well. I mean, if you think about it, it's disrupting the monetary system. Bitcoin is disrupting the monetary system because we've never seen money as hard as Bitcoin. It took 5,200 something years to find something that's harder as money than gold, and it's Bitcoin. So if we have 5,000 years of trying to find something better than Bitcoin as money, I don't oppose buying and holding Bitcoin and never even thinking about selling it. If I have one Bitcoin now, and in say 30 years when I retire, retire, and I'm old and I'm sitting on one Bitcoin that's worth $98 million. I don't even know, like I'm just guessing here, but I'm set, right? And if you figure out a way to play that, you don't need to buy Bitcoin, hold it forever. I mean, both Rob and I are like, we're gonna buy Bitcoin, and then when the right moment strikes, we're gonna borrow against it and buy more of it, and then we're gonna pay back the loan with the profits we made from the borrowed money that we bought, and then we're gonna start over and build that back as the price goes up, right? And eventually you'll have enough of that to be able to just renew your loan and never pay it back, maybe, because you only pay back the loan when you take out your collateral again. You pay back the interest that you owe. But if you never have to do that, then what?
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how the US government works.
So why can't we do it?
Exactly. So just sharing my screen for a second, taking into account everything we've just said, I think this is...
Oh, God.
At the end of the
Should
day,
we
guys,
do the voice?
No, we don't have to. But at the end of the day, this is absolutely true. I realize we've talked for nearly 2 hours here about technical analysis, on-chain metrics, charts, trendings, and timing the market. Basically, stack sats and hodl. That is it. That, if for the majority of people, don't trade. Just buy something good. Wait until everybody's really, really super duper hyped up about it, and then sell some of it. But overall, just keep hodling and accept that Bitcoin is probably going to keep making high after high after high after high, long after your altcoin of choice for this cycle and next cycle and the previous cycle, long after they've gone into obscurity. I've owned more cryptos than I can count. I literally can't count that high. I've owned that many different coins worth of shit, and most of them are probably 90 to 95% down on where they are, their peak market. So don't overcomplicate it. Don't fuck this up.
I'll say this: stack XRP and hodl too. Yeah, if you want to, do it. It's up to you. If you have high conviction in something, I have nothing against you buying it and holding it. If you have high conviction and you truly believe or truly feel like you've done the research that you need to do, but you gotta remember, when you do research, you must be objective. And if you're gonna research, say, a smart contract platform, right? If you're gonna do that, you cannot just research the one that you've heard about and then say, oh, that sounds good. No, you have to research all the smart contract platforms and see which one is best objectively. That's the alpha. Okay? Everything else is going to be beta, right? That's a step down. So why would you be in it? And XRP is maybe the best at what it does. Then if you think that that's the case, buy it, right? If you really believe in it and you feel like you've done enough research to say, this is the best I can buy out of what's available that can do the same thing, then you buy it. There's no contest. Like, there's no question. So I have absolutely nothing else.
Yeah.
Like we said in the beginning and in the middle, XRP, Cardano, Sui, fucking Monero will make you profits this cycle. They will. Will they make the best profits? Maybe. No. But we don't know.
No. So just to add to that,
is very important.
Yeah. So just to add that to that, say the thing with buying with conviction is, if you DCA something, even if everything else is going up for months and months and months and months, and something like XRP, the thing with XRP is a lot of people get dragged into buying it now thinking, oh, it's going to go further. The people who have been sat there buying it every week or every month for the past 2 years, those are the winners. Those are the real winners. The guys that have bought thousands of dollars worth of it at 50 cents or below for the past, since 2022. Those are the winners. The guys buying it now, well, some of them are going to make money. Most of them are going to keep on buying at $1.50, $2, $3, $4, $5. Then it shits itself, and they end up sitting on a 50% loss because their average cost basis is $3.50 or $4, and it ends up going back below $2. And that's what happens most of the time. So the thing with being an investor and an accumulator or something is that, if you've got conviction in it, eventually everything pumps. If you just buy it until it pumps, yes, you'll do well. The trick is selling it when it does pump, and knowing when to sell it and when something is overvalued relative to the overall market. And like I say, when it comes to XRP with Bitcoin, I'm fairly confident that in a few years' time, there will be an opportunity to buy XRP for less Bitcoin than it is currently valued at. I'm quite confident in that statement. I may be wrong. I'll be happy for all XRP holders if I am wrong. But from everything, that same conviction that I've had as a previous XRP holder in 2019, 2020, and no longer being as an XRP holder. In fact, I had a trade open on it versus Ethereum of all things that closed a couple of days ago. I'll trade it when it seems tradable. But holder, I'm very, very glad of my conviction not to have bought XRP. The same as some people are glad of their conviction to have bought it. I am incredibly happy not to have been involved in XRP for the last few years. And so that's okay as well.
Yeah, everything's right. Like,
it's okay for you to, it's okay for you not to be a Solana investor. That's fine. If you are worried about FUD, if you don't like the fact that it's the fastest and most capable blockchain with the fastest network adoption and the majority of crypto coins and a growing DeFi ecosystem and a growing NFT system a lot of seamless if you ignore all of that, though, it's perfectly fine for you not to own it.
Yeah.
Because we're all going to make money just by being in the right market.
I want to give you an example of getting married to your bag. Okay, this is a horror story to me. Okay, Rob and I worked with a XRP project. We were, I don't want to say key people. Well, I would say we were key people in that to turn that project around from being ineffective internally to being effective internally, which boosted their their capability to build their project. So I'm quite proud of being able to do that, which was really cool. Some really great people, nice people, talented people, whatever. Well, something that happened was they managed to get some funding in XRP, okay? And these guys had huge conviction in XRP. And they got it around here, somewhere in 2021, when XRP was really high, or maybe it was here somewhere. And their understanding was XRP is the best, it's going to go up forever, blah, 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 right? Like you hear from most people that really like a coin, right? Or a token. They got paid out here. I think they got, let's call it $250,000 in XRP. And then instead of selling it on the market, they wanted to hold it because they had such conviction in XRP, for good or bad. Well, in this case, it was for bad because their funding was 200, or say, let's say 100K. And then when they really needed it during the bear market, it was down 76% because they held XRP in their treasury during a bear market. That's what happens when you're getting married to a coin. You get 100K and then suddenly it's worth 25K and oh shit, we can't pay our devs. Horror story. But that is what I mean when I say don't get married to your bags. And that's what Rob means as well. Don't just hold it and think that it's going to go up forever. Find places to take profit. Take the profit. If it carries on up, at least you still have some. Like layering out and layering in it's just DCA on steroids, really, if you do it right? DCA works. Yeah, and exactly. You made 100K in a week now, and there's opposite stories everywhere. But I'm saying these guys held for a long time.
Yeah. Because
of conviction. And the guys that held, like Robert said, the guys that were buying around here and had conviction, these are the winners from this pump here. The guys that started buying like around now, when they see this big pump, like, oh shit, XRP is on fire, and they start buying this week, the chances of XRP continuing up is a 50-50 compared to how it might go down. And this is true for everything. It's Solana, Bitcoin, everything. After a huge pump, it tends to be a dump, right? Which is why I always say, find your layering in and layering out, take some profit. If you take profit here and it goes up, but then falls, you can put money back in cheaper, right? It's just it's an intra-trend trade.
The thing to think with XRP though is, in terms of not talking about XRP or talking about XRP, is XRP has been around for a long time. It's one of those rare coins that hasn't died. So it's got a bull case. It's got a lot of positives to talk about, but it's also grossly underperformed the broader market. And so it serves as both a symbol of profitable conviction and as a warning that even good projects tend not to beat out the market overall. And that is the reality of it. And this is where Bitcoin comes in, because Bitcoin is you can only understand once you've been through a bull market and you've been through a bear market, and you look at your bag of shame, and everyone's got a bag of shame. I've had multiple bags of shame. And you look at them and you go, wow, what the fuck was I thinking? Everyone has one. I promise you will have one if you stick in this market for long enough. And it's okay to have a bag of shame, but just try not to make that your main bag. Don't make sure that your bag of shame is something that you can laugh about and it's not your main bag. And I know some of you. I had a friend. One thing he did. He was in XRP back in 2021. Was doing perfectly well with it, and then having bought it below sort of 20 cents, it was up above $1, and he ended up putting all of it in. I think it was Saitama Inu or some meme coin or whatever, and then it dropped 99%. And the problem with being so far out on the risk curve is you then close to the cliff edge of the risk curve, whereby things get a bit suicidal. And it's all right and it's very fun playing on the edge of the cliff, but
until it isn't.
Just make sure you've got some safety barriers in place is all.
Yeah. So,
and when you've got something that has a history of doing something bad, don't assume it's going to suddenly change.
Yeah. Well, so I'll say this. My portfolio structure, for example, is designed to be moderately risky and moderately safe at the same time, sort of. Like, I've split it up, right? Low risk, low return, 50%. That's Bitcoin. That's my hodl bag. Then I put 25% into Solana as my medium risk, medium reward, because it was quite big still. And then I put 5%. I wanted to put 5% into each 5 high risk, high return things, right? That then I've split the risk up. Okay. Bitcoin is the only safe investment of our time. End of. Right? Like long term. I'm saying long term. I'm not saying just like over the next week or next 2 months. Like, I'm talking 20 years ahead. This is why I use it as a savings account. Every profit that I take, profit for me means more sats or more Bitcoin in my bag. That's profit. More dollars couldn't give less of a fuck, honestly. This is why I trade coin margin. I trade coin margin to get more Bitcoin, right? I don't care about the dollars. In fact, I have $3 in my bank right now. Not kidding. Not kidding. And so I think when you're very new to the space and you're getting in, you're going to start buying things that you like, which is completely fine. That's what everybody does. Just keep in mind that some things are considered high risk than the others. So maybe that bag shouldn't be as big as your low risk investment. If XRP for you is the low risk investment, cool. That means you're probably higher on the risk curve. But if you overview the entire market and you look back in history, what's been outperforming, et cetera, that's how you get the risk in this particular market and in the stock market as well. The stuff that has been doing well for a long time, but not as well as other stuff, Google, Amazon, the big companies, they've been fairly safe. They've been making profits, and the downturns haven't been that big, but they're still going up over a long time. Bitcoin in this space is the only thing that can show that it's consistently been going up, and the downturns are not that bad compared to the rest of the market. So that's the low risk. Even though it's high risk in the global financial system, it's a very high risk because of volatility. So high risk, high reward. I'm tired of slow trading. Yes, but keep in mind, even Bitcoin has done, what is it, more than 500% this market so far. 500% in the traditional stock market is rare, right? So even the safest investment can give you a 5x halfway through the market, right? So even if Bitcoin is the low risk, low return in this market, it's still extremely high risk and extremely high return comparatively with other markets, for example. Anyway, we need to start rounding off. I think it's getting late, and we usually try to do
2 hours.
1 or 2 hours.
Back.
So, yay! We're actually I'm gonna jump into the Discord after this. So if you want to talk more and just have like an actual discussion with me, and maybe I don't know if Rob can stay. Can you?
Yeah,
Hang out
I
for
can be here.
Yeah, we're gonna sit and talk and like talk directly to you, because now we've just been spewing information into your faces, and I'm sorry about it. I hope I didn't make anyone cry. No, I'm kidding.
I hope I did.
What was our saying that we ended on usually before? Was it something like, like, subscribe, share this with everybody you have ever met in your life, or the boogeyman is gonna kill you in your sleep or something? I don't know. I can't remember what it was.
Yeah, go with that.
Like that. Yeah, let's go with that. Share, like, subscribe, or you can die eventually. Okay. We'll
Bye.
see you later. Cheers. Oh crap! How do you turn it off? I can't remember. There we go. Okay.